There we go. Hello, my name is Alun. My pronouns are he, him, and today I'm running another of our series of Ironsworn Starforged, henceforward Starforged, under the banner of the Open Hearth Gaming Community. If you don't know about the Open Hearth Gaming Community, please search Open Hearth Gaming Community and you will find us. And come, we've got a calendar and it's got games in it of all kinds, and you'll really enjoy playing with us. Play culture is fabulous. Transform my role-playing life. Search Open Hearth Gaming and come play with us. I'm not going to go through a full intro because you can go back and see episode 1 for that. But I do want to say that these players are great. I love playing with them, but we are still going to use a set of safety tools. So there will be lines and veils, and X cards, and an open door, and we will be playing with the Open Hearth community's kind of community standards. So all's good. We left off last time with the characters having our Ironsworn having fomented and carried through and led a revolution on a very deeply socially stratified settlement on a planet, as far as you know, the only settlement on the planet, called the Elevation. And you did a little bit of kind of after action sojourning, but I did promise you the opportunity to establish a connection here, and I am conscious that one of the wishes from last week that was maybe we could grow the crew with a non-player character. So I'm very happy for that connection to become a member of the crew if you want. I have a candidate. Okay. On the NPC tab, you will see that there is alongside former junior magistrate Exona, you have Circuit, a downtrodden member of the Elevation Mine Work Group. And Circuit, unlike Rowena, I think, who you got talking to last time, whose father was killed in the revolution, who one-time leader of the opposition, has decided to stay, but her friend Circuit might be prepared to come with you. So, I like it. On that basis, sorry, I should explain to people who are thinking, hang on, wasn't there another character? Yes, our other player is not feeling well today, so she's open-doored, and they've open-doored, and we will be reintegrating them when they're better. So it comes down to which of you wants to, because I think, Raven, it was you who made the initial approach to Rowena, and I guess she might well bring Circuit along. Circuit has no family on the planet to speak of. She has some friends and connections, but so I'm inclined to say that Raven is the person to establish this connection. Does that seem reasonable?
Raven was the one who helped them out in the melee, took them on board.
The voice of the revolution.
The voice of the revolution.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, there is the make a connection move. When you search out a new relationship or give focus to an existing relationship, roll plus heart.
Roll plus heart. Okay, so I have a +3 on heart. Let me get the Zoom dice room open. Get that set up. And so that is a strong hit.
A strong hit. So she is keen, I guess, Raven. But when Rowena brings her to the ship to meet you and to make a pitch on her behalf, really, what is it that we see that reflects how well this connection begins?
I think it's that she's done like tech work in the mines, like repair work in the mines and things like that, in that kind of desperate like patchwork and spit and gum and tape, and that kind of as I'm walking her kind of through the ship looks nice, like it's in good shape, it's a little messy in spots. But like this is a real ship that has been taken care of and has real parts and pieces and are like kind of I imagine her kind of like checking the panels and seeing that like all the switches are the same. They haven't been like torn out and replaced with little gear knobs or whatever. And all of that. So I imagine that's kind of got like stars in her eyes at that point.
Relic, you know, you are an unusual character. It's fair to say, a man of many pieces. Which aspect of Relic does Circuit see?
I think it has to be the Blade Master, right? Like the footage from the fight in Elevation, you know, taking down 4, cutting through a door. I think that probably made something of an impression among the people there.
I like that.
And of course, you know, gossip and rumors about a particular blade, for example.
Certainly, I think, you know, probably going through your exercises in the hold. And I'm seeing Raven taking Circuit through the ship and coming to what has to be a kind of gantry that overlooks the hold, a la Firefly, I guess.
Yeah.
And we see the kind of her eyebrows go up to see these smooth kind of Blade Master moves. Fine. Well, Circuit is now a member of the crew. I just want to check the move. On a strong hit, create a connection, give them a role and rank whenever your connection aids you on a move closely associated with their role. And we're talking tech, I think. Yeah. Add +1 and take 1 momentum on a hit. So keep that in mind. I might put that note on Circuit as a connection. So, you know, go off to a good start, but no more than that at this point.
Good.
Yeah. What kind of, let me go to Relic this time. What kind of farewell do the victorious revolutionaries of Elevation offer the Legacy's Lament?
I think it is all of the lights of Elevation in a, you know, like a sequenced pattern kind of thing. Yeah, like strobing and flaring and possibly, you know, using Miner's tap code to convey a message of thank you.
I like that. I do want to check in with both of you as to whether you've opted to spend any of your XP.
Remind me, we've got 2, right?
You've got 2.
Remind me what the costs are.
Okay.
You can improve a existing asset for 2, or you can buy another asset for 3.
Yeah. So one of the existing boxes so in Corbin's case, you could tick one of the boxes under Loyalist, Slayer, or Augmented. Or you can sit on those 2 and, you know, wait until there are 3.
I am going to wait until there are 3 because I have 2 cards that I'm looking at that I'm like deciding on that I would like.
Okay.
One's for the ship and one's kind of a piece of support vehicle stuff. So
in terms of vehicle or that, you know, I'd be very happy. Did I get some feedback then? How very odd.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy to have you flash back to the Elevation if some technical work needs to be done and suddenly you reveal it later on. Because I'd like to think that there's some narrative fictional positioning for an improvement or an addition. Does that seem fair?
That seems fair. Absolutely.
Okay. Relic, what are you thinking at this point?
Well, I was thinking that we should probably buy a module for the ship, which would require us to save up for another box, right? Wouldn't it? But I'm just having a quick
of course.
check.
you could spend 2 and 1, and that would make 3 for the ship.
Oh, is that a possibility?
I don't see any reason why not, because the ship is held in common.
It's true. I was also looking at the improve becoming a better blade master. But
It sounds like you want to wait.
No. Let's spend. What module did you have in mind, Lowell?
So the two I had. So I was actually thinking the sensor array.
Mm-hmm.
That lets us re-roll a challenge die when we undertake an expedition.
Okay, I like that.
But there's some other ones in there that are pretty good as well. The workshop is interesting.
Yeah, I don't think
on the other hand, here is my
great.
suggestion, though. I'm going to make a suggestion. I'm going to game this a little bit. I would suggest that you and I go in on a support vehicle, because we're going to be on planet today, and then the next thing we put our money together to buy is a ship upgrade.
I like that,
because there is a hover bike.
I may have been staring up the hover bike from the start. Yeah.
Yes, it's so good.
So is the suggestion you go in on a vehicle bay? Is that what we're talking about?
No, so a vehicle bay is a module that allows you to buy vehicles at a lower cost, which implies that you can buy a vehicle.
Okay.
So what vehicles are under support vehicles linked to the character. But I'm totally willing to go in and buy Raven a hot bike, so Raven can have it on their assets.
I'll put 2 XP towards it. If you put the 3rd, then we have a nice hover bike.
Yeah, I'm good for that. Yeah.
Enough said. Okay, I think I've added that in. Name your unnamed hover bike. It provides speedy planet-side ground transport and is equipped to carry up to 2 people and their gear. I might, at a stretch, I might allow that to go to 3 if all 3 of you in the future are together.
It's the major reason I didn't take hover bike at the start, was because I was like, well, there's 3 of us, so
yeah, it just might be slightly heavy at the back,
Yeah.
Performance might degrade slightly.
Listen, I've seen 3 people on an electric scooter here in Manchester, so yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So we have our first edition. Ooh, a support vehicle. And it can take up to 3 conditions. So I'm going to set the condition meter to 3. And after that, it would become battered. The impression you have given me is that you think you've made enough progress on the navigate to the Crux of Hyperion to aim to finish that journey.
Let's look at that progress. It's at 8. So yes, I think we got to gamble. What do you think, Relic? You are muted.
There's a slim possibility, but you know me, I would hate to wait for the sure thing.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are looking on the Exploration and Suffer tab. Finish an expedition. When your expedition comes to an end, or you hope it does, roll the challenge dice and compare to your progress. So I'm going to suggest you roll a d10 each.
Sounds good.
Okay. I mean, to be honest, I'm just happy for Lowell to roll both of them.
I rolled a 2.
Okay, I was largely happy for Lowell to roll both of them because I haven't it in the dice room yet.
Oh,
there we go. I'm in the dice room. And a 3.
Yes,
a strong hit.
Strong hit.
Wow. So that's all good. So on a string, you reach your destination or complete your survey. Mark a reward on your Discovery's legacy per the expedition's rank. So this expedition's rank, I think we ended up setting it at easier than we set it at dangerous. Yeah. So you are going to mark on your, if I find them, on your quests track. Oh, hang on, did I read that right?
Discoveries track, right?
Discoveries track, I beg your pardon. You are going to mark 2 small boxes on your discovery track. 2 ticks, as it is described in the mechanics, yeah? So each of you is going to mark 2 there. I'm going to mark 2 for Cinderwing in their absence. Oh, I mean, you could be buying other stuff soon. And yeah, this goes very well. This last leg, I'll fill that in on the map shortly. Mark a reward as per discoveries. Done. Any allies also mark the Crux of Hyperion. Now, what we know so far is, if I go to the sector map, population measured in thousands. The authority is ineffectual. And I've made a note at the bottom. The Coalition of Ceaseless Diggers are an ineffectual dynasty obsessed with finding the great treasure. And they are encouraging hapless fortune hunters to delve in the ruins below. We know that.
I have an X card, and it's a very strange X card. I'm going to apologize right now. Could you please change the term digger to something else?
Of course I can. Explorers?
That'd be great.
Or miners?
Either one.
Miners it is, because it fits in the box. Not a problem. Coalition of Ceaseless Miners. Those of us watching, excellent use of the X card. Coalition of Ceaseless Miners. We know that the projects in play around the Crux of Hyperion is exploration and mining. And we know it's an orbital around this grave world. We know that the atmosphere down there is corrosive. We know that as you arrive in near space, you see the broken moon with a trail of fragments of moon. I'm getting strong leakage from last time we played Star Trek. And an orbiting ship graveyard. Lots of, and I think probably these ships have been here a long time. They've been stripped of most of what's useful. So there are, they're basically collections of struts and panels. We know that the planetside features include fetid mudflats and something called the Workings, which is a desolate refuge. Diversity is scarce. The other strange thing about Hyperion's Rest, the planet, the grave world, is that it orbits an artificial star, christened Hyperion. So an unusual setup. What is the first sign you get, Raven, that all comers are welcome?
I think that we would normally expect like some sort of orbital authority or things to contact us and say, like, come in on this path. We come here for clearance, things like that. There's just automated buoys, just saying like they've left the door open.
Welcome to the Crux of Hyperion. Opportunity for all in the ruins below. And there are a lot of ships in this approach following these buoys. They, clearly lots of transports are in the queue ahead of you. A handful of transports in the queue ahead of you. Relic. Now you were warned that you had to be careful with customs here. What is the first hint of the nature of why you've been told to beware customs? Because it does seem like the doors are all open.
I think it is. I think it is the darting lights of small survey pods that weave their way in and out of different things, stopping and scanning each ship as they don't like hold you at customs. They don't do anything, but like you can't escape the fact that they are just a flotilla of these small things moving around. Yeah,
like flies around Linus.
yeah.
There's and you'll get a call from one of them that says, this is the Crux of Hyperion Customs Service. Permission to come aboard.
Can we say no?
I don't know. What? How
Well,
are you gonna? You gonna say no and see what happens, or?
no, when they say permission to come aboard, I'm looking at Raven, I guess, and saying, I mean, can we say no? They asked for permission.
I think that we can't, because that's going to draw more attention than just them coming on board and us just bribing them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking about a bribe, so good to see we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you if any efforts had been made to conceal that almost featureless black box plugged into your, cargo bay power supply.
Ooh. I would like to, what's the move called? Check my gear, whatever it's called. Find a useful item. Check your gear.
With what intention? What do you want? And then we'll decide if the move flies.
What I want is a like a dampening net, basically, right? That will just, like, you throw it over and it obscures all kind of like signals, electromagnetics, etc. Like, it's just it's the equivalent of a blank of a big heavy curtain over the top of something, right?
Fine. Let's have you do that then. Roll plus supply, Relic.
Cool.
What's your smuggling equipment like?
I have 5 supply. Oop. Go. Well, that's back to normal dice rolls for me.
That's a weak success, isn't it? 2 and 5 is 7.
Oh god, yeah, you're right. I forgot to add the
I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, plus 5.
Yeah.
Goodness, you have it, but you must choose. Your supplies diminish, sacrifice 1 supply, or it's not quite right and causes a complication or delay, lose momentum, lose 2 momentum.
I will sacrifice the supply.
Fine. And yeah, you have a kind of I think that description of a kind of dampening net is a good one. Make a note of it somewhere just in case we have cause to refer to it again. We'll need to check that it's still working by then, of course. And yeah, that you string that across one corner of the cargo bay, just to give the appearance that it's just a slightly smaller cargo bay than it actually is. What could go wrong? And there's a small umbilical comes across to your airlock from this worker bee-sized 2-man pod, and makes all the handshake goes on. Open the airlock and cycle it.
Yeah.
And in comes that a small spherical hovering bot with a small loudspeaker that rather tinnily says, "Welcome to the Crux of Hyperion. All are welcome here. All will make their fortune." Please.
Are you a bot or are you a remote?
I am a remote.
Oh, hey, good to talk to you. So good to see you. I assume there's some extra fees for quick treatment. Do I just attach that to the bottom of the remote?
I need to examine your cargo.
Well, we can make this quick, right? We can.
There are ways to make it quick. Please show me to your cargo.
Absolutely.
There is something off about this as a conversation, is I think where you get to, Raven.
And I'll look at Relic as if to say, is there anything that you can sense or see? Like, I don't know. He's got a psychic blade. He must know something.
I mean, it looks very stabbable. I guess that's the the major one.
Is this gather information?
Yeah, that feels like that to me.
Yeah.
So Raven, I think you're Johnny on the spot. So let's have you gather information, please. So roll plus wits.
Okay. Actually,
Or do you
let's
have
do
something
that.
else?
No, that sounds good. Let's do that. So let's get those dice back up. Dunk, dunk. So that's a weak hit.
A weak hit. On a weak hit, the information provides you with insight, but also complicates your quest. Okay, take +1 momentum.
Okay.
And it sounds like this is an automated voice being transmitted to a remote bot. It doesn't sound like there's a person on the other end of this.
All right. Then
which does complicate your quest because you were hoping just to pay them off.
Yeah. Well, we will let them. We'll let this go around, and if there's a problem, there'll be a system failure.
Absolutely. Well, Relic, let's see how effective that net is, shall we? When the bot begins to kind of inspect the ship.
Best bot. Is that like the best boy?
Best bot. So I think this is probably face danger, but I want to know how you're going to get a bonus for the net. But I'm curious.
Is it face danger, or would it have been secure an advantage? Make preparations.
Yeah, go on. Let's. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll go with that. What the obvious one is deception.
Yeah, I think it is deception.
Yeah,
which I'm equally as bad at. So.
Well, I'm going to give you a +1 bonus.
Yeah.
For having invested in or having rigged up this net. So shadow +1.
Okay, let me just double check that. Yeah, I am just as crap at shadow as I thought I was.
Where is Cinderwing when you need them?
Yeah. That is a weak hit.
A weak hit. On a weak hit. On a hit, you succeed. On a strong hit. Oh, so do you want +2 momentum or do you want +1 on your next move?
Ooh, I will take +2 momentum, I think.
Okay. Make the adjustment. It works. They don't find the box.
Mm-hmm.
But it's completed its survey.
Blue light scanning across the room.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But it's frankly much more interested in scanning the four of you. Just forgetting that Circuit's on board.
And I'll say, whoa. Like, you want to scan our cargo? That's one thing. You're gonna do a probe up my ass. That's a whole different thing, buddy.
Yeah, I hear those things give you cancer.
Seriously.
You need not worry. I simply want to discover whether you are fit and well.
Nope, that's not going to happen. Go.
Are you refusing these opportunities?
I'm refusing this opportunity.
Then I must inform you that you are not welcome at the Crux of Hyperion.
What? A medical assessment is it mandatory for trap landing on the Crux of Hyperion?
Indeed so. If you observe other ships seeking entry, you will see that some of the large ones have been currently docked with and significant numbers of passengers are being scanned.
Is this some sort of quarantine or?
We simply want to ensure that visitors are fit and well.
Is this like a Soylent Green situation?
There is no soil involved.
Listen, we've come a long way to get here. Just get it over with.
Can I take that as permission to proceed with my scans?
Sure.
Thank you. Raven, it's becoming increasingly apparent to you that if this isn't an AI, it is a more than standard automated system. Yeah, because its responsiveness is off,
Yeah,
but it's not wildly off,
fucking AI.
which we know are rare.
Yeah,
I would like
Now, hang on,
to.
Raven.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I would like to make sure that the protocol droid is here and present and like at least in the background for meta story, assisting us with these negotiations too.
I think that's nice. I think that's nice. In fact, would that have made a difference to any of those roles? I don't think the protocol droid might offer in terms of social interactions is likely to fly. But yeah,
not yet.
That's fine. Interestingly, no interest in scanning the bot at all. Your bot, the protocol bot, seems to treat it just like any other piece of mechanical starship cargo supplies machinery. And it, you know, it'll get some nice laser light effects. And you see a little green light go on when it scans Raven, and a little green light on when it scans Cinderwing, and a little green light when it scans Relic, and a little green light when it scans Circuit. Thank you for your cooperation. The Crux of Hyperion welcomes you. Please proceed.
Are there any other local rules we should be aware of?
Local arrangements will be explained on docking. Thank you again for your cooperation. The Crux of Hyperion welcomes you. And back through the airlock, cycles out, and the umbilical disconnects, and the little thing goes off somewhere else.
I'm going to say Relic, Raven, bots give me the creeps. Sorry,
I don't like that.
Error goes.
Oh, not you.
You're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
I think I am like I'm this place we've heard. I said we've read about this place. It's not got much in the way of government. I'm a little worried that they've got an automated AI customs service. Like, where the F did that come from?
I mean, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of ships. There must be something worthwhile, right? Like, maybe there's no government.
People are here because they're dumb and hungry for exploration.
Yeah, not like us.
We're delivery people.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this so that we get our debts cleared.
I am going to mark a box. I'm going to mark progress on getting the black box because you have made progress. So you're now at +5 on that in terms of delivering this to Mantis, the Jackal's contact on the Crux. Is the Crux of Hyperion itself, Raven? Is it on one of these fragments of moon, or is it on a a standard space station?
I think it's more visually interesting if they've locked an older space station onto one of these fragments and have built out like shanty station onto the rocks.
I like that. Some fragment of spinning moon with a station built on, attached to, built into, drilled through. Great. And the boys kind of beep, 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 lead you into a pad. And it's very clear you see some ships going in. You're guided to one that's an appropriate size for the Legacy. Some of the larger ships are guided into larger pads, and you can see the ones on the ground sinking down into the moon. And unless you tell me different, you're going to land on a pad, and it's going to rather Tracy Island down into the bowels of the moon. And the clamshells will close over the top, sealing you in a dark space.
Reminds
Any
me of home.
questions?
No, I think I just say reminds me of home. And, let's leave the ship.
And that's when you hear really the first human voice, or at least the first not recorded human voice. Hello, this is Crux of Hyperion arrivals. Could I ask which of you is going to pay the toll?
That would be me.
Thank you. Please report to Mine Gang 5 by 0700 tomorrow.
Can you explain that? I mean, like, what is the cost? Like, what's the how many creds?
Oh, you misunderstand. Your toll will be paid in labor below.
Well, you've got
for a ship of your size, 4 shifts is all that's required.
It's a good job you're so strong.
We of the Ceaseless Miners want to encourage more people to visit the surface and to find wealth and fame. Please do arrive at Mine Gang 5, Mine Gang 5 by 0700 tomorrow.
Well, now I know why they wanted to scan us, I think.
Yeah. For heart conditions. All right.
Maybe we can still get you out of it. I mean, it's like any other planet any other place I've been in the Forge. They may say it's for everyone, but there are always going to be ways around it.
Like the draft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I make it clear that other volunteers are welcome? You will be credited.
Will it be taken off our ship's toll? 4 shifts would become 2 shifts?
Yeah, let's do that.
That is a perfectly agreeable solution. Records suggest, and there's a pause while he checks what the bot found, records suggest that there are 4 on board. 1 shift from each of you would be sufficient. Now, given that Sabine's not here,
yeah,
I don't think it's fair to throw them into this.
No, I think I gotta say I want somebody to stay with the ship, and I don't want to make our new crew member have to go do mine labor immediately after being taken off a mine world.
Well, I was going to suggest that maybe Circuit is just like 1 shift. Sure, no problem. I've lived my entire life. Don't worry, I'll show you guys the ropes. Which I think I personally would prefer her to be less shielded and protected and more kind of. I'll show these Ironsworn space travelers what it's like to be a miner.
Yeah. At first, I'm like, well, we wouldn't, we wouldn't want to and then she clearly, as you say, not having any of it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm imagining her just pulling out of a pack all the mining gear and everything, throwing us a couple of things. Like, you two don't even know to take some electrolytes with you. You're going to need those when you go down.
I think that's developed your relationship because you've gone one way and she wants to go another way and you've gone along with it. So Relic, I think that was your idea, that if she wanted to go, she can. So let's have you roll to develop a relationship. How does that fly? Because I think you have given them something of worth, which is a sense of their own worth.
Trying to find the reference.
It's on Legacy, Fate, Quest, and Connection moves.
There we go, in Connection.
You may mark progress per the rank of the connection. So I did say that I'd allow you to kind of define how challenging connections and progress tracks are going to be. What are you thinking for this?
So don't we need to define that they are troublesome, dangerous? Or I see, you're right. Yeah. Let's go with
I mean, dangerous in this context is just how the tougher the task, the more self-reliant they're going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm tempted to go for formidable just because when we did snipe on a weak hit, you go one lower, which means nothing at all if you you know what I mean? Like if it's a dangerous, if it's formidable, we have the opportunity of like even on a weak hit marking off a connections box. Whereas if we're even on a weak hit, whereas otherwise we're just hoping for a strong hit on everything, which is quite rare in this game, I feel, or at least it's rare for me.
So I'm allocating formidable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time you make progress, you'll mark a box. And I'm going to do that for you now. And the way this proceeds is you can, at any point, you can choose to establish a bond, which has more value than just, you know. Yeah, I mean, Circuit kind of stands up for herself, and though she looks to be a fairly mild-mannered young woman, she comes across, she toughs it out in this conversation. So all three of you are going to go down. That is one shift and one third shift. And
why don't I take that extra shift? And while I'm doing that, Relic, you go in and take Circuit because she knows miners and check around, like see what you can find out here. Like we're looking for Mantis. We're looking for this lost boy. There's somebody I got to meet up with, but I won't even worry about that right this second. But at least the first two.
Relic will wink at Raven and say, hot date. I guess you came to a grave world for the action, right?
So am I understanding this right? That Raven is going to go and do the shifts below.
I'm going to do the extra shift. Like there's each of us do one, and then I'll do that extra shift
and create a bit of space.
Create a space so that Relic and Circuit can check things out.
Fine. Is there anything you want to do between now and 0700 and Mine Gang 5?
Like how long? How is that like? Is that like tomorrow?
How long
kind of
do you
thing?
want it to be?
Yeah. Let's at least walk around so we get a lay of the land. Like see where there are information kiosks. You know how we resupply, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I think that the sense you get is of a bustling location. Lots of people arriving. It looks like people, you know, immigration vastly exceeds emigration. And there's a sense in which local infrastructure seems really thin. There are a number of places you can buy mine equipment. There's a number of places, you know, you can invest. You can invest in work gangs to encourage them to work. You could, you know, it's a free market in exploration.
It's a libertarian paradise.
It's a libertarian paradise. Health and safety is less of a concern than you might have hoped.
I imagine it's a little bit like those online betting things we have, you know, where you can invest on bets on work gangs.
Work gang 38 last week made more progress than any other work gang. Invest now. Want to know more? Is there anything else particularly that you want to kind of, in terms of lay of the land?
For me, mostly it's I want to know where we will get information. Is it just at the bars? Is there any kind of like data tracking, anything like that? That's my main concern.
I think that the free market has created all kinds of places for you to get information, but it mostly involves spending money on drink or people. It looks like any data infrastructure is with the ruling dynasty, the miners.
Yeah. Relic, I need to ask you a question about them. Like, is there any way for us to know that they're around? Is there anything we should be worried about? Is there anything I should be aware of?
Well, I don't know. They've never. Every time I think that I know where they're coming from, it's another thing. You know, when they first came after me, it was in a great black ship that I saw from a mile away. And then on the next planet, they bribed the local security. And then on the planet after that, it was robots. And it had been a while. Then I met you guys. And then seemed like they'd lost my trail. And then the next thing I know, there's a goddamn witch in my head.
So absolutely no common denominator.
Well, one, and he taps the blade.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
I do want to put on the table for Raven, when you make a move to investigate, track, or stalk an inhuman foe. Now, so far, we've applied that to the world at large.
Yeah,
it's possible that would apply.
Yeah, I do think I will ask around, like, especially after Relic gives me kind of a sense of the, like, what the span is. I do want to quietly ask around, probably without telling Relic.
Yeah, I say
let's
something
split
like,
up and cover the ground.
Yeah. Maybe when you're asking me, I go like, "Look, Raven, I don't know. I'm the hunted, not the hunter. That's your deal, okay?"
What point taken?
Yeah.
So well, look, I tell you what, it's actually on the hour. So let's take a 10-minute break for our first one. So I make some tea, and then we'll come back at 10 past the hour and frame a scene around that investigation, Raven. Yeah?
Yeah, sounds good.
See you shortly. So, we come back with Raven doing a little sniffing about, I think. So frame me a scene, Raven.
I think I am just going and talking to the kinds of people that I've been trained from my faction to go and hit up, the people who might have seen strange stuff, the old coot in the corner, weird conspiracy nuts, those kinds of things. Those are my bread and butter for hunting.
Yeah, I've got a great conspiracy nut. Hang on. I'm going to add him to the NPCs because he looks really interesting. Yeah, I've added him to row 23 or so on the NPCs.
I see him.
He's a weird guy. He doesn't look like he belongs here, particularly how does his appearance with this kind of slightly formal dress and these enormous whiskers, why is that anachronistic for where you find him?
I think that he is in this horrible, seedy Firefly style bar with stained yellow plastic curtains blocking off booths and things, and he's there. He's gotten some of the dirt and grime of the place on him by this point, but not as much as I would have expected. He's clearly not just a vagrant with fine mustache skills.
Yeah, and he's sitting back in this booth in a very self-satisfied way, just watching the world go by through these funny little nose glasses. And he is the most eccentric individual you've seen because he doesn't fit with this milieu at all. What do we see you doing?
I think I will go over and say, "You don't look like you belong here. Can I buy you a drink?"
Well, that's terribly good of you, old chap. Name's Fianaglass. Dr. Fianaglass.
Doctor. And I'll gesture for the servo bot. And what, pray tell, are you a doctor of?
I am a doctor of life, my friend.
Oh, God.
I travel, I experience, I imbibe life.
How very candid of you.
Indeed.
Yes. I will sit down and I will say, I am passing through. I'm with the Ebonheart Redeemers. Perhaps you've heard of us.
Oh, yes.
I hope it's only been good things.
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Fabulous people, I understand. Never met one. Pleased to meet you. But now I come to think of it, what's wrong with that crest on your shoulder? It doesn't look right to me. I think I've seen pictures of them.
Yes, that means that I am a pariah amongst my order and have to work my way back into their good graces.
Oh, my dear fellow, we are pariahs together. I am a pariah in a whole number of clubs and societies.
I see, I see. Well met then.
Indeed. Drink up.
Okay.
Another round.
I am going to just see if I can soak him for any sense of the weird, the uncanny, the monstrous. In particular, I am hunting for news on people that might be maybe have gotten ahead of us, because it was probably pretty obvious where we were going.
And I'm thinking anything, any strange occurrences that in any way could match up with what Relic experienced with the ice miner ...
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's probably gather information, but you get the add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit as well as whatever the move says.
That's right. That's right. So not automatically it's that. So let's see, +1. Let's do wits. So that's rolling with a +3.
Wow.
Let's see. So that is a weak hit.
A weak hit, which allows for the information. New insight also complicates your quest. Take one momentum, so you get 2 momentum out of that. There's no value in you swapping out your momentum, is there, before you take those bonuses?
No.
Okay. And you kind of dance around the subject and end up, I think, probably saying, any kind of, I heard a story about that, you ever come across anything like that? And Fianna Glass, and as he plays with his whiskers, do you know, that does ring a bell. I did, I think, hear a story about a ship that found itself subject to the kind of mental grip that you're describing, out of nowhere, no sign of anyone, no one else within sensor range, just there in deep space, and suddenly the crew find themselves gripped, rigid by some external force.
How did they escape?
The story I was told that one of them started speaking in tongues after a fashion, clearly trying to communicate to the others, and in the end started asking them questions. Where were they? What was the date? As though this person was possessed by someone who was lost in time and space. I mean,
what a fantastical way to put that.
Well, that's the impression that I was left with. Yeah. That some poor spirit was floating about, not certain when or where it was.
A shadow, as it were, out of time. Interesting.
That's terribly well put. Let me write that down.
Well, Doctor, that's very, very interesting. I appreciate you sharing that story with me.
I enjoy interesting company, and you brought me an interesting question, and I'm happy to provide an interesting answer.
Are you headed down to the surface for mining at some point, or are you just hanging about?
At the minute, watching. I am simply hanging about. I discovered that one of the how might one describe it? ruling dynasty went to school with me, of all things, and so I appear to have been allowed to loiter.
Well, good for you.
But I'm
I
often
will-
here.
Yes, I'll check with you before we head down to the surface. We've got some business down there, and
Everyone has business on the surface, my friend. Yes.
it makes sense given that that's the only reason to go down there.
Oh, but who knows what you may find? Do you watch the mine lottery? It's a fascinating way to
burn through your cash reserves. It does seem like it.
Well, to fund otherwise impossible to fund research is the way I look at it.
If only the academia had such an approach.
Then I wouldn't have to wander.
I will thank him and mull that over.
Meanwhile, Relic, just before I leave Raven, was Circuit along for the ride, or have we left Circuit on the ship?
I assume, if it's okay with you, Relic, that Circuit would go with you because she knows the mines and stuff.
Fine.
That's what we said earlier, so yeah.
So, Relic, what am I frame a scene?
So we're walking through this station, this wrecked station that has like a shanty sort of settlements around it and everything, right? I imagine it kind of being a bit creaky and haphazardly patched together and stuff like that. So we're walking through, different size airlock doors and like blast doors and shields, and there's lots of, people standing around looking at screens and everything. And
Another lottery win! B.
I guess things weren't like that in Elevation, right?
No.
Anyway, we're looking for this this Mantis guy, friend of the Jackals. If you don't know the Jackals, they're big news on the other side of the sector.
Oh, everyone's heard of the Jackals. Yeah.
Right.
They offer a range of services here. But beyond that, I think it's about gathering information, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
What kind of a person have you approached? A miner up from the surface, or a new arrival going to the surface soon?
I think I'm actually going to try and find someone who's leaving, if I can.
Right. I'll tell you for nothing, that's very difficult. You make a couple of inquiries, and it feels like, transports that arrived full with 20 or 30 people are departing with 1 or 2 passengers. And whenever you raise the question, people say, "Oh, you need to talk to a lottery winner if you could only find one."
Getting worse, and I got a bad feeling about this, I say to Circuit as I go around, remembering the what's it called? How, and she talks about probably they had a similar setup on Elevation, right? Company script, getting into debt, no way to get off the planet. In fact, if it's okay, I would like to say that's what Circuit tells me, right? Because the NPCs are as much our character as anything else in this game, right? Yeah. Circuit tells Relic all about that.
And how you needed to buy company script to pay for food, and that if you haven't got quite enough, they offer you credit, and the credit, and it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, they managed to put that into a speculative finance market as well for another way to bleed you out. Well,
and it's kind of reliant on a flow of people
coming in. I wonder if the Jackal, if we're the people, if the Jackal sent us here just to get us stuck, or to some sort of payment to the locals. Well, only one way I find out. Let's go find a Jackal.
Fine. Let's have you gather information then.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you +1 because Circuit has a slightly insouciant look that gives you a range of different approaches. So you have +1 for gather information, roll plus wits.
Well, that's an absolutely terrible roll again. That's a
My.
1. It's a matched miss, but I'm going to spend my momentum.
Ooh, went the crowd.
Yeah,
To
which
turn
is
a miss with a match into a
strong hit
with a match.
with a match. Yeah, which I
Wow.
don't think but still nice to have them.
You are welcomed like the Messiah at a boutique mining equipment shop, where the woman, when you mention Mantis, oh, should go and try, boutique helmets.
Yeah.
And oh, thank God! Are you the people with the box?
Yeah, we've got your cargo. We've got it ready to unload whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Well, I can't take it. You have to give it to Mantis.
Okay.
And I know exactly where he is.
Great.
He's down at the workings. He's just doing a standard collection run. But I can get you down, no problem. Were customs a problem? Was there any issues?
No, customs was fine, but we've got to get down. We've got to get the box down from here onto the planet now.
Or we need to get Mantis back. Yeah, but
coming back for the next shift.
I can make some inquiries. We've got a lot of customers down there. He needs to do some collections sometimes in person.
Great. I mean, we were told not to move that box anywhere but to Mantis.
If that's the word from the top, then I wouldn't want to go against that.
I guess if it's on the ship, can we take the ship down? Is that allowed?
What happened? What happened at docking? Did you mention Mantis? Did you mention us?
No.
Good. But did you get drawn into the whole shift thing?
We were told we had to.
Yeah, well, I can help with that.
I thought you might be able to.
I know a guy who knows a woman who knows a guy. Because, this is all about the box. It's all about the box.
Yeah, sitting on our ship, which we have to do some shifts to pay off, right? So
yeah. Look, leave that one with me, okay? Leave that one with me. If you can get the ship, you can do delivery. It's great.
Okay, so we either I look at circuit. So we either go get our ship out of Hock to these guys by pulling shifts or waiting for them to come through for us, and then we go to Mantis, or that all takes so long that Mantis comes to us. I guess nothing to do but to head back and tell Raven the good news that our mission isn't over.
I've marked a progress because you now know exactly where Mantis is, and there is a plan on the table for delivery.
Which, I suppose if we were doing just the thing mechanically, you could always roll against that progress clock to say, like, I find Mantis, right? Like, finish an Iron Vow.
Mantis could arrive, just like that.
Yeah, interesting. I'll go back to Raven and tell him the good news that I've learned about the way this planet works. The mining lottery is worse than we thought. The Jackal's contact here says that they can maybe sort our shifts out for us, but there's got to be some catch. People aren't leaving this planet. They're working themselves down. I bet you any money they would want that they would charge. The charge for leaving is probably far higher than the free entry.
So, as you may remember, well, let me put it to you this way. Right now, the dealing with the box is job number one, but it's not our only job. We still have to find that young man. And now we know that it's worse than we thought.
Well, it explains why he hasn't come back.
Yeah. And here's another thing. There's somebody else I have to find.
Well,
and I'll pull out a chip.
mm-hmm.
I've got to hand this off.
To who?
One of the Jackal's contacts. I don't think it was a Mantis, which is somebody else. This was another task that I was set to because I was particularly, how do I put this? They fingered me for what happened at the station and made it clear that I needed to do a little extra beyond this carrying of the box.
You should have told us, Raven.
If it was something bad that was going to get us caught in the whole search, I didn't want. I wanted to give you plausible deniability. But I don't think that'll be too bad. We can do that on the way out, or we'll run into this guy as we're dealing with Mantis. But we do have to figure out how to track down this young man. I assume he's in some kind of indentured servitude down below.
I've marked one progress for Creed Talari on the grounds that you now have a sense of the local context that your search to put his sister's mind at rest.
And we're on the planet where he is, right? That's a big step in the right direction.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you're on a planet where he was. I mean,
yeah, well, that's still a big step in the right direction.
It is.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, if you don't tell me who it is, then I can't keep my eyes open for them. So I guess that's with you.
Well, I'll tell. I can't remember what the name of the guy is that I have to deliver that to.
I'm not sure they gave you one.
Right.
But I'm giving you it now. It's called. She's called Spider.
One of Mantis's people named Spider.
Is that about? Then I don't see it on the sheet anywhere.
It is.
No, that was a private arrangement.
Private arrangement. Yeah. I will say, I also talked to somebody in the bar who told me an interesting story. And I will relate this tale of a ship and the mind control and the speaking in tongues and this possessed person having no sense of where they were at kind of thing.
I mean, I heard a couple of them talking to each other once, but I thought they just had their own code.
At this, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, well, it's weird. They're always weird. I don't know why. All I know is that they want the blade. And I don't get a good feeling about it.
Yeah, given what we know of how they operate, I'm not sure that giving the blade to them in any way, shape, or form besides between the eyes is a good idea.
Well, thanks for looking into it, Raven. Come on, we should go find this kid.
No, we should find this kid after we get the box to Mantis.
So the question becomes, which of the two approaches? I'm very happy in the time it takes for you to get together, have the conversation, you get a call from, Boutique Helmets to explain that any minute now you should get a message from Port Control saying they're going to apologize for the mix-up and, your toll has been paid. They hadn't realized it was paid in advance. we try to maintain, you know, a stock of shifts.
Of course. Well, good, we're out of that one then. I didn't fancy
only at the cost of some other poor bastards.
Yeah. We're not that big heroes. We've already overthrown one mining complex. We can't do all of them. So, well then, I guess we take the ship down to the surface. We try and find Mantis, or
Is that where Mantis is? He's down below.
he's taking payments or something.
All right. If that's the way we do it, let's do it.
Okay.
So I think I'm seeing the clamshells open
and
the lament, you know, coming out of the surface of this fragment of the moon and peeling away with a message from port control saying, "Thank you for visiting the Crux of Hyperion. Please visit again. Do you have a local or distant destination in mind?"
Local.
Are you requesting clearance and a flight path to the workings?
Yep.
And one pops up on the sensors. Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep,
And I
beep,
look
beep.
at Raven like I totally expected them to try and charge us for that.
Oh, I suspect they are when we try and take off.
Head down into the libertarian work.
We just got to make sure that they don't put a boot on the ship while we're down there.
Well, that's why we leave Cinderwing on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, you're making your approach, and to be honest, the atmosphere is corrosive. It's dense with you know, corrosive volcanic ash, all kinds of shit that's coming out of this grave world. High levels of radioactivity. Clearly, whatever rendered this world into a grave was potent, because millennia on, it is still a hellhole. Weather patterns are unpredictable. Atmosphere corrosive. Fetid swamps cover much of the surface. But you know, you've got a beep 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 beep, beep taking you down. And that's when there comes a message from the ground that broadcast widely. Mayday, mayday, emergency lockdown. We have an issue down here. We are going to lock down now. And the flight path just disappears.
By the forge. What next?
I've defined the trouble for this, and it is prone to disaster.
Well, we got two choices. We either take her back up in orbit and wait, or we land and take the bike out and see what's going on.
I think without a flight path in this, we're going to have to land and we have to find the nearest safe landing and take the bike.
Okay. Let's do it.
Because we've got a rough heading, right? So we follow that down to the nearest safe spot, and then we're going to go out from there.
And Raven, just describe what we're seeing on the sensors that makes this a tricky approach.
Oh, I definitely think it is weird clouds that have a static charge in them, so they show up on the scanners and kind of freak us out with phantoms as we're going through here.
Yeah, that's a mountain. Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, I like kind of weird whisper echoes of that as we descend down. Of course, there is us trying to dodge some rocks there. This is all very space 1999 for me. So there's where our thing has to like clip and knock some stuff off.
I think I'm going. Which one of you is piloting? A Cinderwing tries to shout, guidance. Because only they can really work these sensors.
Yeah, I was imagining Cinderwing doing the Kaylee from Firefly role, swearing at us down the corridor as they batter the engine into shape.
Who's in the hot seat?
Let me do this one because you took the last couple of shots. You also spent some momentum. So I'm just trying to be clever about this. I'm leaning in with my wits, trying to stay alert with the sensors, listen to what everyone is saying.
This sounds like face danger with expertise, focus, and observation. Roll with wits.
Okay, let's see here. So that is a full success.
On a strong hit, you are successful. Take 1 momentum. How come this is cool? Because I think you do, you're going to clip a couple of hilltops.
I think it's a little bit like there is a layer down at the bottom that is clear, and kind of once we kind of get below that, now we're kind of flying nape of the earth, below that, keeping a vision, and then we can see the lights of the facility off in the distance, but we kind of have to land here because it's the last, like, we're certain there's a clear spot here. If we go further, we might not be able to.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is a vast expanse of fetid swamp and marsh between you and the workings.
Yeah, I don't want to drop this
looks
ship
like solid
in there.
Ground.
Yeah.
So we see you put down. Now I'm going to assume that you've got, exosuits. We've seen them in action before, but I'm not certain how heavy duty they are. So Relic, you've got pretty lucky so far in terms of what's in the ship's locker.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking, how are we going to take this crate on the? I guess we want to bring him into the ship rather than take the crate out of there, don't we? Actually,
I was going to ask the question, but
I think we have to leave it here.
We might check gear to get like a hover dolly or something, like a repulsor thing that we can attach to the back. But as I'm thinking it, I'm like, no, it makes far more sense for Mantis to come to the ship rather than drag the precious contraband around with us, right?
Because you'd have to disconnect it from the power supply,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Plus, it means he has to come to our place on our terms.
Yeah, and it also means that nobody can take it from us on the way there at the last bit. Maybe, hopefully. Circuit's going to watch the ship and Cinderwing. Nothing to fear. Yeah, I will look for a...
What I'm looking for is, what is it that's going to make it safe for you out there in this corrosive atmosphere?
Yeah. I think it would be an environment suit, because before I think we've seen us with breath masks on, but we also went into space, right? Like in the thing, and that would have been a full-on suit. I think it's probably the spacesuits, right? But maybe like it's stripping down the spacesuits to a level that they are usable on the surface as opposed to zero gravity.
I was going to go 2 ways. Do you have stuff that straps onto these suits to make them hard? So you've got you've got these big bulky spacesuits for working in zero gravity.
I like the idea, if I may suggest, that actually we can get, as Relic said, the internal bits of it, but then there's probably like some spray stuff to resist the corrosion that we have to put on there.
Yeah.
Well, Raven, it was your idea. Let's see if it's in the ship's locker, shall we?
Okay.
Check your gear, roll plus supply.
Let's see. So that is a weak hit.
A weak hit. On a weak hit, you have to choose one. You have it. Supply is diminished. Sacrifice +1. Yeah, okay.
I will do that.
And to make it fictionally interesting, this stuff, of course, needs to be reapplied at intervals. Yeah. And so, we see you kind of slotting some canisters of this into the suit pockets. And yeah, I think it's probably maybe the inner layer, the radiation protection layer inside the spacesuit. Fine. And then there's the bike. Who's going to?
Well, did we name our renowned hoverbike? What have we got? We've got the Legacy's Lament as a ship. The Teardrop. I don't know.
I like that actually. The teardrop, like that's a nice, vivid connection. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I've added the teardrop to your hoverbike. Who's driving?
Relic, why don't you drive?
I'd like to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also think it's roll with edge, and I've got a better edge than you.
Well, I mean, it's entirely up to you.
Don't do it.
How? Because I am going to run this as a progress track across these fetid marshes.
Yeah, it's an undertaken expedition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
and it is roll with edge.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bite allows you to take +1 momentum on a hit when you undertake an expedition with edge, basically.
Reach the workings.
When you roll it, move at speed, basically, and have hoverbike, move at speed, I think.
Okay.
I'm only going to make this troublesome.
Okay.
I don't want this to run forever, but I'm interested in seeing, and I'm going to put 1 on there because you've already reached the edge of the fetid marsh. So, undertaking expedition to cross the fetid marsh.
Yeah. As Raven gets into the seat behind, I think, right? Like it's probably like 2-seaters kind of speeder bike, and you get into the one behind, and you strap down the panniers with like the extra gear and stuff that we're going to need, and the little meter I think on the back of the like a stopwatch on the back of the thing is already counting down, and I'm like, we haven't got long until we're going to need to reapply this spray. We better get through this fast. Let's see what these miners gave us.
Describe the hoverbike. I mean, is this? I'm trying to avoid a Star Wars one, if I'm honest.
I think,
but I appreciate that may be culturally difficult.
Well, I think it's similar to some of the more industrial ones that you see in Star Wars. Like it's not the slick speeder bikes; it's a little bit like the swoops that you see, like the big chunky one that Rey flies around Jakku. More maybe like, but aesthetically kind of more towards like the Firefly hover truck that they have in the episode when the Reavers come,
okay.
You see them going around. So it's like, it's a bike, but it's not like a sleek, slick bike. It's more like a kind of 2-wheeled, like heavy vehicle kind of thing, Because it's from mine as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm inclined to give you +1 because you've invested in this asset. So it seems to me that you should have +1 when you're using it. So undertake an expedition, move at speed.
Yeah.
Roll plus edge, +1.
Wow.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's another 1 from me, which then takes it to a 3. But you know what? I'm going to mark that future block, which turns it into a strong hit.
Strong hit. You reach a waypoint, envision a location, and mark progress per the rank of the expedition. So I will mark Raven. What's our first kind of in this montage? What's the first thing that we see here?
I imagine it is this swamp, and the marsh, and we're moving over the grounds. And I think sort of the first leg is that we do get to the equivalent of like an oil rig site out in there where there's machinery like pumping stuff from the ground. We don't know whether it's fracking somewhere else or whatnot, but it's like it's the first place that we get to that has more solid ground that we can catch our breath and kind of reorient.
Rest, recover, or move on?
Move on. We don't have time to get.
Fair enough.
Can I suggest that pumping station is slowly pumping out a sunken, like a spaceship that's been sunk into the swamp? Like it's a sump pump, basically, slowly draining the relic to be investigated here.
Nice.
and it reinforces the idea it was a good thing not to land here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
And move on then.
yeah, we reapply the spray, right? Like that's why
Reapply the spray.
stop
I
here.
am just tracking that. I'm going to mark that as having 6, and that waypoint marks the first one.
Cool. So roll again.
Yeah.
My God, I'm going to be going through all of my feature clock on this because I just rolled another 1 on the action die.
Holy mother of God, you have. I thought
You can burn momentum.
You can always burn momentum.
I just
Oh, plus your momentum went up by 1.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, because of the hit, because of turning it into a hit on the thing. So
yeah,
my momentum is now 5. That would take me to a weak hit, wouldn't it? I believe
A weak hit it would.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that, of course. Yeah.
As above, but this progress costs you. Choose one. Suffer costs en route. Make a suffer move, -2, or 2 suffer moves at -1. Or face a peril at the next waypoint.
What do you think, Raven? I mean, I like both, I think.
It's up to you.
I would like us to, I think, suffer. Obviously, I'm very tempted by the peril at the next one, but I feel like I could roll peril again. But I quite like the idea of this is a journey through all that corrosion and the swamp and everything. I'd like to suffer some diminishing of our resources getting across.
Sure. Okay, well, -2 to supply, or -1 to supply and -1 to either physical or spiritual harm.
I think 1 and 1.
Or -2 to the bike.
Well, you can do that. You can apply these harms as a condition to the bike.
Yeah. I'll take the supply and the health, I think. Just
supply and health, fine.
Yeah.
I'm also going to mark 1 on the clock for that waypoint, and another one because that was a weak hit. Yeah. So you've gone through half your supply. This is the point where really, it's the turnaround in terms of the jet fuel.
I don't think this is going quite fast enough, Raven. Should we push it?
Yeah, let me work on seeing if I can amp it as you're piloting here. See if I can redirect the power flow.
Using your loyalist, I assume.
That is absolutely so. Aid an ally, and we're creating an advantage, securing an advantage.
Yeah.
So that feels like wits to me.
I would go with that.
So there's +3. So that's a strong hit.
Brilliant. So you get +2 momentum from the move, and +1 on your next move, but also there's the benefit of your asset.
Yeah. So I get 1 momentum, and then Will gets 2 momentum and +1 forward.
There you go. Wow. What could go wrong?
I think the like the pitch of the hoverbike's engine suddenly becomes a lot cleaner. Yeah, faster, cleaner. Okay, so that's +3. Then I think on the and then +1.
It is
+1 from my +2 from you.
So you get 2 momentum and +1 from me.
Okay, so yeah, +3.
And I've added the progress, so you now are at reach the workings at +7.
Okay.
Are you tempted to make a dash for it?
Yeah.
And you've got 1 more momentum from the hover bike, Will.
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, I'm losing track of it. So do I need to roll?
Well, you're at +7 to reach the workings.
Yeah.
On the progress track. You could now either undertake an expedition or you can finish it.
I mean, I think, does aid an ally work on progress moves?
I don't think so.
No, I don't
Very
want to wait.
little works on a progress move.
Yeah, I don't want to. Lowell set me up with a great +3 on the roll. Then I think it's another undertaking It's another what's it called?
Undertake an expedition.
Yeah, undertaking expedition. Yeah.
Roll plus edge.
Cool.
+1 for the hover bike.
+1 from my skill, +1 from Lowell's assist brings me to a 6, which is a strong hit on another 4 dice roll.
Fine.
Yes.
On a strong hit, you reach the waypoint and make progress. So progress has gone up to, in fact, it's gone up to 10. Because this was only a troublesome journey.
And then I get a momentum from the bike.
You do. And you don't need to, because, I suppose if you rolled a pair of 10s now, something could go wrong.
Yeah.
And if you rolled a pair of anything else, then it would be great.
It would. It would.
So we were at a waypoint, right?
Yeah, you were at a waypoint. I'm assuming that this is now to test whether you've made it to the workings. We're at finish an expedition.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just, we reach a waypoint before we would do so. I'm just saying that, like, to color in the imagery of where we're moving.
I beg your pardon, yes.
Like
yeah, sorry, I'm getting sucked into the mechanics again.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. I think what it is it is like a valley, like that's leading down, and we can see like the flicker, the mists and the sort of flickering lights of like illuminating them off of this. So we know we're going the right way, but we don't know exactly where the route is at this point. But you can see that some great industry is taking place just off in the distance, and you can almost hear those echoes coming down throughout. So let's
roll 2d10s.
Yeah,
and look for 9s or less.
I'd ask Raven to do so.
Okay.
It's a progress move, so there's no benefit to either of us doing it.
7 and a 9, so
A
strong hit.
Strong hit.
So on a strong hit, reach your destination and mark a reward to your Discovery's legacy track. So easy. So Discoveries, you are going to mark
1.
Yes. 1 small tick on Discoveries.
Okay.
But they all count. There you go. There they are, the workings. You've made it across the Foetid Marsh, and what I'm envisaging is lots of towers. It's like kind of a chemical engineering nightmare built into the bottom end of this valley, with one of those kind of Cheyenne Mountain tunnels running through it and down into the mountain. With enormous doors that are closed.
That closed. Great.
Lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown. I think gunning the bike and, like slowing, like just as we come in, the lights sweep across this through the piercing, the murk and the lights of the rig and everything around. And the wind, I'm imagining, kind of like sweeping past us and everything. Very Aliens, Hadley's Hope, but humid and swampy at the same time.
And I'm struck by the fact that it's a minute past the hour, so I'm going to take our second break with your arrival at the workings. 5 minutes, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
See you in 5. So we open after our last commercial break for today with the hover bike parked out these enormous kind of circular doors, vault doors sealed closed, and our 2 heroes standing there in this corrosive atmosphere, looking at their timers, recognizing that I have now marked 4 of 6 on the anti-radiation.
Let me see if I can pop the emergency hatch here.
I thought you'd just knock.
No. That's plan B.
Does this sound like secure an advantage?
Yeah, I like that.
Or face danger? You take your pick.
I actually think it's face danger because I think this is like we've got to get in there now.
There is an imminent threat of your radiation protection failing.
So I'm going to roll with iron.
Fine.
Actually, can I say that like I'm using my augmented arms to assist, like to get anything that's kind of stuck open?
What I'm imagining is in the side of this big metal tube disappearing into these workings, there's a smaller maintenance hatch, and this is kind of.
Let's see it. Okay, so that's going to be it's going to be a 3, 6. Oh, buddy.
That doesn't look very good.
No.
Not even with all the pluses
not.
to play with.
Not even with all of the pluses to play with.
Not even either, sadly.
Hang on, let me see here. Yeah, I think I can't get it.
Well, this is a miss then. So you're going to pay a price. The price you're going to pay is either physical harm or damage to the arms that I think we're kind of playing with as either harm or supply.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
How much? 3 points worth?
No, I'm going to stick with 2 at this point. I'm still feeling generous. I just can't bring myself to move to 3 yet.
I'm going to burn 1 on
It'll be 1 of each.
Yep. I say, Relic, you got to see if you can do it. I can't.
And then you succeed. You know the strain. I can't do it. And then
I'm shorting out electricity running up and down them, right? Like
and the body of a miner falls out onto you. Because I'm going for momentary success undermined by a dire turn of events. He's been torn apart by something.
Mike, there's a moment where Raven goes, "Oh, good. This is my, oh, geez." like a moment of, "Oh, this is my area." And then realization of the horror of my saying that.
Like,
let's get inside.
Like, you sure?
Get inside.
Yeah. And I think I goose the bike forward, like with the lights sweeping across the inside, because we don't want to leave the bike out here, right? In this rain.
I think it's really cool to be driving a bike in a constrained internal tunnel.
Yeah.
Because this isn't into the big tunnel. This is into a parallel maintenance tunnel, which is maybe 6 feet across. And you maneuver it in, and happily, there's a kind of hand crank on that access on the inside rather than on the outside. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm imagining doing all of that while Relic sort of reboots his arms, right? Not Relic, Raven reboots his arms. Yeah. And I think I just, the camera closes on, like, as the doors swing shut, right? Like it closes on that. I'm just staring at that body as it disappears from view, like the miner outside. Well, I hope that wasn't Mantis.
It looked like, a miner in the sense of, sweats and.
It was more of a flippant comment than a dramatically thinking it could possibly be Mantis.
Well,
what do you do?
How much money do you want to bet that's what the lockdown's about?
I won't take that bet.
I will actually at this point draw out my blade, and as we go along until we get to wherever we can't maneuver the bike any further, I've got the blade out, and I think there is the glow that comes from the illumination that it gets when it's out, added to the bike's front beam there.
I kind of want you to be hanging out to one side, just scraping on the side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But that might be because I've just watched the first episode of Star Wars Visions 2, which is fantastically stylish, I have to say. Relic, this tunnel runs ahead. Is this, pace? Is this trying not to cause any disturbance? What's the approach you're taking here?
I think this is just slowly ambling forward, like on edge looking, because no idea where we're going, what we're doing kind of thing. But yeah.
Because I'm going to play this, I'm not going to run this as an expedition, I'm going to run this as secure and advantage.
Yeah.
So not speed mobility. It sounds like stealth or expertise. Shadow or wits?
I think more maybe with resolve, actually. I think it's just about keeping our nerve, being awake,
Okay.
being not panicking or moving fast. It's just about that sort of gritting your teeth and stepping forward into the darkness kind of stuff.
Go, roll with heart.
Well, it's still a weak hit. Not even a weak hit, it's still a miss entirely.
Well.
But I do have enough momentum to turn it into a weak hit, so I'll spend that.
Fine. Weak hit, you succeed, but not without a cost. Suffer, I think this is probably spirit, because you went with heart, and this is freaky. And the reason it's freaky is that you notice the blood trail in the light. It illuminates a blood trail running away in front of you. So one suggestion, he crawled all this way. That seems unlikely given the condition of the body.
Or he was dragged.
Much more concerning is the fact that the blood trails, some things stood in his blood and headed back down this passageway ahead of you. That's what cost you the spirit.
Okay, so it cost the spirit. So how much did I lose in spirit?
Just the one. Raven, what's going through your mind here?
At this point, I do want to say, stop the bike, Relic. And I will get off. And this is the point at which I am taking out my gear. I've got my blade. I imagine that most of the time it's in in the sheath, but now it's kind of moved up to a kind of quick sheath, quick draw, shoulder draw position. And I've got my other gear out, and I'm going to sit and analyze this as best I can to see what information I can glean from the tracks.
I think that's very fair. So this is gather information, but your Slayer would apply.
Okay. So wits plus another one, so +3. Let's roll. So that is a weak hit.
Okay, on a weak hit, you succeed. I will tell you something about it, but you need to decide whether you're going to take +2 momentum or +1 on your next move. You don't need to make that decision until I tell you what you discover.
Okay.
This is a group of probably 5 or 6 individual things. They seem to be moving with equal facility on all the sides of this round tube. So it looks like they can run across the ceiling as much as they can run across the floor. It looks like they are moving quadrupedally, but there are points where those 4 tracks turn into 2. So it looks like they could stand on their hind legs. In terms of scale, you would place them at smaller than man-sized. Do you have another specific question that I could help you with?
No, I think that's enough. I mean, we'll see them when we see them. I guess it's like the movement of the tracks. Does it seem like evenly spaced and organized, or is it like a group, just a group of creatures with that kind of animalistic movement?
I think I describe it as a group of creatures with animalistic movement.
Okay,
it's
good.
a pack of creatures. I think
that is a relief. But I will tell Relic what I'm seeing. I say we got to be careful because they can be up and around and anywhere.
It could be anywhere. Yeah.
What do we see?
Is it lit here, do we think, or is it dark, like flickering lights? And
it's dark apart from the light that you're providing.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got a well-illuminated space ahead of you.
I think it's,
you know,
the helmet cam, right? Like the helmet torch on the side, like a little pencil.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say that, you know, there are ducts, you know, smaller than you're in this 6 or 8 feet wide tube running down the side. Presumably through that wall is the bigger compartment of the main tunnel. And there are at various locations, you know, access hatches for that. But whether those access hatches are big enough to take your speeder bike is a different the hover bike is a different question. So yeah, there are various kind of access ways to this maintenance tunnel.
We need to find Mantis. We need to find, or anybody else who's alive down here.
What I will say is that there's also, you know, bolted onto the side of this probably a retrofit of assorted power and other cabling.
Sorry, what? A retrofit?
Cabling of various kinds retrofitted to this tunnel. One of those might be a communications channel.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Would that be secure an advantage? Assess the situation?
I think it's probably gather information.
Gather information again.
Because what you want, it's what you want to use it for that I think matters.
Yeah.
Here. Raven, what are you thinking?
Vis-a-vis the comms unit?
Yeah, or how you want, you know, what approach you want to follow now.
I think I want to kind of, like I say to Relic, let me stand guard. Let's stop here. See if you can hack into the comms. At the very least, see if you can get a schematic so we can see where we can take the bike out. Like how far we have to go or whether we do have to just park it here.
So I'm looking at the recovery rooms, actually, right? Resupply. Do you have to sojourn to do resupply?
I don't think so. You have to have fictional positioning.
Right, because what? Scavenge, right? The things on there, and on a hit, you can choose a specific item or resource that can reasonably be acquired, such as comms for, you know, the local area, basically, or whatever, right?
I'm prepared to go with that.
I like it.
I only say that because I have a scavenger move that is quite hard to trigger, right? So yeah. I'll do that. Okay.
So when you gather information, by scavenging a wreck, ruin, or abandoned site. Add
Mm.
+1 and take 1 plus momentum on the hit. Yeah.
This is an abandoned site, given that it's the restaurant, basically.
No
yeah.
argument from me. No argument from me.
Oh my god! Not that it. I mean, I still get a weak hit. I'm just like 1s, 2s, and 3s. 3s is the highest I rolled all night, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. So, I mean, you know, the scavenger works. So
yeah.
let's have gather information. So weak hit.
Mhm.
Information provides new insight, but also complicates your quest. Envision what you discover. Okay. You get +1 momentum for that. You get a
Mhm.
bonus momentum for the scavenge.
Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, are you more interested in comms to someone or access to whatever passes for a sitemap?
I mean, I really like the idea of the hello, hello. They killed everybody. You know, like the sort of man trapped in a locker like, on the comms deal.
So comms.
Yeah, comms. I think comms.
Okay. And it is exactly that. Hello, hello. Who's that? Who's that? Is that search and rescue? Have they sent somebody down?
I don't even think. I don't know what's going on. Tell me what's going on.
Well, just we've lost contact with you know, Neil, all the way down to 47. And I don't know what to do. I'm up here in you know in control, and I've locked the doors. But you know, a little while ago, something was banging at the door.
You safe in there?
No, I'm shit scared.
What about the others?
What do you mean the others?
I mean, you're not the only one here, right?
I'm the only one here in this room right now. Yeah, yeah. Where are you?
And I read off whatever's written on the wall next to us, right? Like, which means nothing to us because it's just a string of numbers.
Okay. I can get you to me from there.
Cool. Tell me which way.
And he'll spiel off a set of. Do you tell him you got a vehicle of some kind that you need a bigger access or exit?
I think I kind of like the idea of getting off on foot at this point. What do you think, Lowell?
I do like the idea that we take the risk to it off the table, but we also lose the advantage that we have with it. So yeah,
I think
Yeah.
it's more. I prefer the imagery of walking around on foot more than anything else. You know.
Well, he says, okay. So if you said it was R5 stencil on the wall. Okay. Let me think. If you go ahead to R8, and you should find a ceiling duct. Climb up that ceiling duct. Like 2 floors. You know, you'll see an exit, and then you come to the next one, and that will take you out onto where I am. And then you just need to make your way. Just follow the signs that say central control.
Okay. What's your name, friend?
Dave.
Well, Dave, hold tight.
Okay. So how many of you are there?
Oh, don't worry. Enough.
Okay. And then in the background you hear this kind of bang, bang. I think somebody's back. Should I see if it's
No.
somebody?
Dave, stay where you are. Don't open that door until we get there, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And I look at Raven and I go, right, that way, left, and then straight down.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so the whole bite, you take it down to R8, and as predicted by Dave, there's a ceiling vent and a ladder beyond. So, you know, big enough for you to climb up, but not big enough to get the, you know, no way you get the hover bike up there. And so I'm seeing a montage. Raven, what is it that we see freaks Raven the most on this trip?
I think it's maybe that there are other marks and goop and things in this like climb up that suggests that whatever these things are maybe they've been here for a while, mucking about, and only now have decided to pop out.
Oh, I like that. Yes. Some signs of some accretions of maybe something that looks like, feces or some other secretion. Um, Relic, what about you? What is it that the audience sees Relic kind of go, oh shit?
I think it is the spent bullets riddled across a wall, and the rather large blood stain across the back of it, but nobody.
I think that's great. Because I think what you do is you go up the 2 floors that they've told you, and there's a kind of a kind of lever open door that's kind of half levered open. And in the corridor beyond, that's where you see, blood everywhere, bullets scatter, across bullet holes across the wall paneling.
Broken blades.
Oh, broken
Because we
blades.
know we're in a setting where they use swords.
We
and blades,
are where it's
right?
yeah. But there's a sign that says central control.
Jog down the corridor, do the whole reach and clear type approach to go through.
And as you approach the corner that will take you to the door where Dave is, you hear a chittering. And that, I think, is where we'll pause today.
Oh, good.
And we will find some way to reintegrate Cinderwing next time.
I'd like to suggest that we can tell Dave to send like you're in central control, send a buoy signal to this address, kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe there's even like if you came in by a spaceship, like you can land like above it somewhere and take like a cargo.
Don't worry
lift.
about that. I think it's a good idea to have Dave send a signal. Yeah. I'm on it. Normally lockdown shuts everything down, but I can make that happen as long as it's local.
Awesome.
And that, I think, is where we will pause.
Yeah.
A brief stars and wishes.
Sure.
I think I'm fairly confident where the wishes are going, but Will, any stars?
I thought I really enjoyed this planet, the Crux of Hyperion, the going down. I enjoyed recruiting circuit particularly.
Yeah.
I enjoyed interacting with NPCs. From the helmet boutique to the good doctor, and it was interesting to play with the moves. I did enjoy actually, seeing those counters go down as well as we progressed. The expedition felt like perilous just because of the ever-present threat.
Once you have a clock.
Yeah, I think it really worked. And I thought it was a good and interesting use of our hoverbike as well, right? Like for the and I thought we did it. We're getting the hang of what's the next scene? Oh well, we just decide what flows from there, and then take it to a move, and then decide what flows from there, kind of thing, as opposed to any sort of much bigger picture on it, and then coming into stuff like this. So yeah, big stars for that. Wishes, obviously, we're on a bug hunt. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into a sword fight with the monster and finding out what's in this crate, or not finding out what's in this crate eventually. But yeah, those are my wishes, I guess.
What about you, Lowell? Any stars, any wishes?
I like the setup. I appreciate you going through and getting the routine for establishing an onboard NPC. I particularly liked Will's turn when we arrived and kind of like, oh no, she's a minor, she knows what she's doing. That was a great moment. I like the NPC interaction. I like riding the hover bike. I always love it when you take a new piece of equipment and you're able to use it right away. That's so much fun. So yeah, all of that stuff was good. I do like the clocks running down and the feeling of risk and reward from that. So and of course I'm a slayer, so a bug hunt is very much in my range, and I'm looking forward to having a fight.
So some slaying Slayer stuff.
Yeah.
Fine. Any other wishes apart from slaying some stuff?
No, that's it.
Brilliant. Okay. Stars from me. I thought some of the descriptive bits that you put in there, particularly when I kind of am prone to jump to the next mechanic. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, the descriptions gave me plenty to work with, which was good fun. And it just feels like it's beginning to flow a bit.
Oh yeah.
Wishes, more flow, and obviously bugs to slay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pause the recording